Chinatown. One of the things that we talked about in general, and actually what's funny is we have support from Costa's office, Patterson's office, when there are two that aren't there anymore, but then also Diane Feinstein's office, into looking at this area becoming a historic park area, which would mean all 17 blocks would be designated as a historic district, which what we're looking for several things. One is to be able to help businesses here, because we have several building issues. It's plumbing, electrical, and roofing are all dire needs in the area. The other one would be to help property owners so that they would be willing to reinvest and not just throw people out in their buildings. And three, to be able to preserve what we have here that is so unique, because there really isn't another area within California that has this combination of 11 plus community groups that have lived so closely together and have such a history. But with that, we're going to need to depend on the 2,500 people that I've taken on tours, 20 people at a time, for on the bottom and then above ground, to be able to put pressure, because we know that the biggest opposition we will have, and I know Mark is shaking his head, and you can guess that the biggest opposition will be the city of Fresno. Not so much the county, because we've already talked to two of our county reps, and Sal Quintero is very much in favor of it, our legislative folks, but where the biggest block will come is from the city of Fresno, because they don't want us preserved. Whatever reason, I'm not sure who I cheesed off in my previous life, but somebody is truly trying to take that.
This is a city that's been trying to erase its history for a century, so it's not, I don't know, how many of you are from Fresno?
Most.
I mean, we I happen to be a writer here. I write about California, the Valley.
Mark A-Rex.
And there's the city has, I mean, you go back to our courthouse, you know, it was gorgeous. And they destroyed it and put up a magic bird cage, you know.
Mark, if you could tell them what the city council recently did.
Yeah, I went
Well,
back.
those historic records.
I'm working on this book that's coming out in May, and I went back to look at some records in Fresno and just found out that summarily the city council, unbeknownst to the public really, decided to destroy 15, 20 years of land use decisions, just burned it. And if you go back to the history of Fresno, there, we saw those chutes. There used to be chutes where they would actually take documents, light them on fire, and then send them down a chute into a big metal can that just collected the ashes. So for a century and a half, for whatever reason, this place has really denied, erased its history. And this is why what you're doing today is so important, and you're a treasure. And we need to, folks that are here, we need to stand and fight for this thing. I wasn't aware that this thing was in that much peril. So thank you for letting me know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I should bet you all, you guys are all just staying here. That's great. Other questions?
There used to be a little like partial storybook house down the street. Do you know what happened to it? It was like next to an abandoned building, but it looked like it came from Storyland, and it was down the street, and then now it's not there anymore. It was really cool. I used to take pictures there. It's like a storybook house. It was just a partial.
Oh, yeah, no. The city and other people decided that whoever they wanted, they were made them tear it down. Yeah, so a bulldozer came through and wiped that sucker out. Yeah. They tend to do that around here when no one's looking. It's like a couple of the buildings, this side and this side, that were really quite wonderful, were bulldozed in the late afternoon. So part of it is that, how to put it, what the city has told me is that it's up to the people who buy the property, what they wanna do with it. And the city's not going to stop them from tearing it down, even if it's thought that there's historic significance. They won't.
So I sell real estate, so I was just looking, and there's nothing in here that's for sale.
Oh,
So- Huh? Yes or no? No, I'm saying actively
Oh.
right now, so I
Oh.
pulled all the blocks. And so my question is
Yours
and
is
do you
on the
know?
market from, because a couple's getting a divorce, and they also own the
So that's my question, are they local people, are they out of town people? Do you have the support of everybody in here, are there people who just don't care, like?
You basically hit all the points that are our difficulty. We have a lot of, for some reason, San Jose people own a lot of property in Chinatown, and that's only been within the last 10 years. Basically, I think because they think the prices are cheap and they could buy it. That's what happened with Paris is the couple getting divorced, but the Basque Hotel
Right.
is a guy who he had contacted Scott Vincent, who's a wonderful architect, and as we've been working with Scott on historic preservation. The guy bought the building, he's from San Jose, wanted to do something weird with it, and so he's now has it up for the market. But the Basque Hotel, actually, well, how many of you know the Basque Hotel? How many of you eaten there? What's that building, what's that fenced area next to it? It's a highlight court. So if some of you have never seen the game of highlight, that's where they used to play highlight there. But that's with the kind of shovel mid things and you hit it going across. But the other one is you also have people who, like on the block that direction, there must be like 40 owners. And each one of them are waiting for a big kill. They think that this property that is 12.5 feet by 50, they're gonna make $1 million on. So they're not willing to do a thing with it. Then you have a lot of most of the businesses that you see here are renters. Some of them have been renters for 50 years or more. And most of them have had to put every kind of new thing in, they've had to pay for themselves because the property owners are being piggy. And it's just like when they were having those guys running around doing the ADA suits. I kept saying, please don't come to Chinatown because we don't have a damn bathroom that would pass an ADA complaint. But what happened, so if somebody was going to work on their bathroom, they would have to put in the money themselves, even though they have the business. But we have some businesses here. We have one, Elegante Taqueria, that won 2 of the taco throwdowns. They have a wonderful, wonderful mobile, and then Abel, his restaurant is there. Then right next door is Rosie's Floral. And Rosie has won several blue ribbons. She actually won the blue ribbon for, is it last year or year before, for the grand prize for the, when they do the House and Home and Garden show. She won that. And she has a little shop here, but she makes the best floral bouquets if you've ever wanted to know about it. But what you have are businesses, a few of them like Lynn's next door. They own that building and this building. No, the new one bought this one. But a very small handful actually own the buildings that they've been in. But when you talk to different folks, right now I'll let you know there's another community group that started this last year. And so they have some of the property owners backing them because they're friends of Ashley Swearingen. Sorry.
What are they trying
You
to do?
didn't see that. But she found money and gave that group, I don't know, like $100,000 to organize and to do little street stuff. They're the ones that got the grant from the $70 million that the state's coming down supposedly to increase the area's value. But for Chinatown, what we're going to get are some new trees, some street repair, and nothing for businesses, nothing for the buildings, nothing for the property owners, nothing. So you have other folks working, not quite a against us, but they don't have the same view that we have, where we would like to be able to preserve what we have. Say if there are some businesses that are on the market, if there could be local people who would like to have, you know, Terrace Cafe or another one, we would love to encourage them. Because there are some of them that are on the market now, whether or not, because this building and the other building were on the market and they were sold, and they were bought by, Dozaki. He has a fish market. He's the nephew of Mr. Yukomi, who used to have the fish market, and he bought them. That's why I said whether or not we'd be able to do the tours anymore, we don't know, because it just went through escrow. Yes?